right, welcome. This is my presentation for my very first project for Graduate Experience Design Studio, and this is called Joy. Through the sensory experiences of touch, sight, sound, and smell, I explore another experience, delight. I've designed a delightful experience for students to be deployed in the design building on San Jose State University's campus. Art and design students are often under stress to be creative, and the goal of my design experience is to be a moment of joy in the life of one of these students. My project will have two dimensions of surprise, a tactile dimension and a virtual dimension, and together these pleasant surprises will hopefully amount to a feeling of joy. The first element of surprise is tactile discovery, and the second element is virtual dimension. So I'll combine these two elements of a really nice visual, tactile, good smelling experience with this augmented reality experience as well. My goal is for the tactile dimension to be just as delightful a surprise as the virtual dimension, so that someone without access to the AR experience can still have a small moment of tactile delight. I did a little bit of survey research. I posted a survey all around the design building, and I also surveyed the undergrad BFA senior thesis class about the things that brought them joy or delight. I explored questions asking about students' current stress levels and what songs, colors, and scents bring them joy. You can view the survey by scanning that QR code right there. And while I can't say the results were surprising, it was a really fun bit of data to visualize. Students generally rated their stress levels somewhere between a 5 and a 9, where 1 is no stress and 10 is very stressed. Most students fell around a 7. The most delightful scents were sweet. Students listed cookies, cake, ice cream, gummy bears, and baking spices as some of their most delightful scents. The most delightful colors were yellow, followed by blue, and then the most joyful music genres were pop by far. It was a little tricky for me to figure this one out because a lot of the songs had multiple genres that they belonged to, so I ended up assigning each song 2 genres and then sorting the data accordingly. And if you like, you can listen to that playlist of the senior BFA students' most joyful music genres by scanning that QR code there. For my process, I was initially considering creating an animated AR scene that would kind of grow up out of the card. Unfortunately, my animation skills aren't quite there yet, so I went with something a little more typographical and simple. You can see under number 2, I played around with a few different layouts for the physical card and ultimately ended up going with that nice centered layout because I thought it would be the most eye-catching. I'm an Adobe Aero and 3D modeling novice, so I took this project as an opportunity to get some training in both. I had initially planned to export PSD files to Aero and to create kind of a 2D layered effect for my virtual experience. As I thought that would be the easiest way for me to get into Aero, but I just really didn't like that 2D look. I don't think that my layers were detailed enough for it to be very visually effective. So I began experimenting in Illustrator to export 3D graphics to Aero. I had an issue with color vibrancy and ended up creating kind of a convoluted export method to get my 3D models from Illustrator to Aero. But it worked, and I got to dabble a little bit in Adobe Substance Designer as well. In addition, I used a handheld synthesizer, the Teenage Engineering Pocket Operator, to create my music for the scene. I had wanted to compose my own music, but due to time constraints and a lack of inspiration on my part, I ended up just kind of making minor edits to a stock track that came with the synthesizer. I had issues importing the music. It was kind of annoying. It doesn't really loop properly, and given more time, it would have been really nice to have worked with somebody who is familiar with music editing software to really get that music down. The physical cards were inkjet printed, and then I used Mod Podge Dimensional Magic to kind of paint that little tactile bit onto the cards. It creates like a clear domed glossy texture over the word joy. And then to make that nice, the full sensorial experience, to get the cards to smell nice, I placed them overnight in a Tupperware container with a bar of soap. It's Lush's Honey I Washed the Kids soap, which once I read the survey responses to what scents made people feel joy, that was just the first one that immediately popped into my head. It smells like honey, it smells like ice cream waffle cones, it smells like birthday cake. It's perfect. My user stories, I'll go over this pretty quickly. I was just expecting somebody to kind of follow along the surprise response, which is a response that's outlined in Tanya Luna and Leanne Renninger's book, Surprise, Embrace the Unpredictable and Engineer the Unexpected. So according to their research, surprise influences the dopamine receptors in our brains, which causes us to focus our attention on the surprise, and it can inspire creativity. The 4 stages of the surprise response are freeze, when we're stopped in our tracks because of something unexpected. Find, we want to figure out what's going on or how this happened. Shift, we begin to shift our perspective based on findings. And share, we feel the urge to share our surprise with others. And so you can see here, we have a little user in the freeze response. She sees the card, it stops her in her tracks. She moves on to find, she examines the card, she sees the QR code, she takes a picture. We go to shift. Maybe she was feeling stressed out, but now she's absorbed in this experience and she's kind of shifting her perspective from a stressful one to one of joy or delight or surprise. And then share. Maybe she decides to leave it for someone else to find. Maybe she decides to take it with her and share the experience with a friend. In conclusion, this project was a lot of fun. I learned a lot of new skills, and, given more time, I really feel like this could have been much more fleshed out. But it is a complete sensorial experience. Was it fun? Yes. Did I learn new skills? Yes. Is it a portfolio quality piece? No. But I had a good time. And so here's a couple video demos so we can just see it in action, and I can show you in class as well. So this video here, we can kind of see a student approaching the card that's tacked on the wall, and they kind of have that freeze experience, right? They feel the card, they look at the card, it stopped them in their tracks, and then they move on to the find, they take out their phone, they scan the QR code, and then this will bring them into the experience of what's going on their phone. So here we open the camera, right? We have the card, we feel that texture. On the back, we have the QR code provided by Arrow. When you click that code, it prompts you to open Arrow, and here you can view my project. It's loading here. And then there it is. It's anchored to the card. The music starts when you tap the tap to play words. And so my goal here had been to have those different flower elements kind of bop with different parts of the beat that was playing. I couldn't quite make it work. I don't think the loop is perfect. I don't think I'm musically inclined enough to do this on my own, but the concept is there, and it's really fun to look at. The colors are nice and bright. I really like that high gloss shine too. I feel like the shine on the virtual elements kind of reflects that high gloss on the physical card as well, so I liked that connection. And that is it. Thank you very much.